Cobb Job podcast. Was it last weekend I was at Uncle's? I feel like I just did 2 weeks in a row of a of a deck build.
Did we put that light on? Oh,
Yeah,
you did that? Oh, I didn't see it. Oh.
God, we're all out of whack already.
No.
I'm tired.
Pisha.
I had a full day of holding things.
Pick this up and put it down there.
Hold the Sharpie. Yeah, I had to go do round 2 of that deck that I did either last week or 2 weekends ago.
I understand Dad's going back.
Yeah, Dad's going back tomorrow. That was like round 2. After that, I was like, oh my God, how are you doing this, Father? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I can't do anything. I was Sharpie boy again, Ma.
Oh no,
I was Sharpie
no fractions,
boy and Chris,
right?
Try and get this drill bit in the drill.
They didn't make you do fractions.
No.
They?
Luckily, no fractions this time.
Thank God.
But I did have to measure things like 8 times, and I forgot to put something in.
Uh-oh.
And I guess they were like, "Oh, you forgot to put this back in," and we've been measuring, and I'm like, "Oh." We didn't do the spacers or whatever they're called. I've already forgot. All the words that we used today, Mom, right out of the vocabulary.
Fancy words like spacers?
Yeah, no. What's the thing called that? No, the shims.
Shims. Those fancy words called shims.
Uncle had these metal shims. I was like, what the hell? I've never
He's
even
got
seen
the gadgets.
That. He's got everything.
He's got
Mom,
the
we had a
gadgets.
drill, like a... So we were trying to drill through the concrete of the house, basically. Which once you're drilling into the house, that's how you know it's gonna be a shit show.
Those impact drillers, something.
If that was an impact, if an impact drill's a little one, this was like a meteorite drill. It was like you could drill through like the bit was like this big at least. So
I'm sure he went and bought that specifically for the job.
Yeah, I think he probably rented something like that. I don't know if you can buy that. There's got to be a legal power limit too. One of those. Did
you see that gun I sent you guys yesterday? The enormous gun. Even Dad was like, "How does somebody shoot that?" So anyhow, you said that about the drill bit. The bullet was about this big for this
BMG.
Guy shot, and he was huge. This guy, I mean, muscular, huge, and they did it in slow motion, and you could see the thing throw his shoulder all the way back.
Oh yeah.
And the title was, shooting this gun will dislocate your shoulder.
That's very common.
But the bullet was enormous. This is some freak. I can't believe. Do any of you guys ever look at the stuff I sent you?
You definitely did send me that one.
Yes, I did. I sent it to all 3 of you guys. That was yesterday.
But you also send it like.
I texted.
Each group chat's different. So my mom. So there's one for me and my brothers. There's one for me and one brother and my mom. There's one for all of us with my mom.
Yeah, because they send different.
Which one does it go to? Yeah.
But it still goes to you.
Yeah,
regardless of the chat.
Let's see.
But it was an enormous gun. Even Dad looked at it. He goes, "Wow, that thing is huge."
But that's very common. Like a lot of people will try and. The most common one is when people they'll try jokingly or stupidly try and like hold 2 guns like this, basically like 2 sniper rifles, and try and shoot, but they don't realize that it'll blow out their shoulders. Right? You can easily blow out your shoulders. Let's see.
My shoulder hurts just watching this. I'm not gonna make you watch it now, but that's how big the guy was.
Oh, I did
shooting
see that.
it.
Hold on, let me see it.
Okay.
Yeah, wait. But guys, see, this is what I mean. So all of these are my mom, but they're all in different group chats. So they're all the same.
I send different things to different people. There's nothing wrong with that.
Going to Safari.
Get used to it, Chris.
I don't like group chats. I don't even like our group chat in our Snapchat with all the guys.
It's not a group chat. It's a list of people. I don't do group chats.
No, it's a group chat.
Not really. I don't create a group and send it to you guys.
Yeah, you do. That's what we're saying.
Well, technically, I load each name. I don't have a specific family thing.
It's a 4-bore rifle.
Yeah, it's enormous.
My God.
It's enormous. Look at the bullet. Okay.
This is a Campbell soup can, and this is the 4-bore.
Guy's huge too.
He knows it's gonna hurt.
I don't think I could even lift that gun.
Oh my God.
Watch his arm. Look at that.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why you would be shooting something like that. In the sense of, I think that's one of those things that you put in like a rack to shoot it. Like I don't know what that's for, but
it's a crazy guy thing.
Yeah. Oh, there's a great YouTube channel called Grand Thumb, like M1 Grand Thumb.
Yeah.
And he does fantastic videos on like modern day weapons, the problems with old weapons, and he buys them. He's former military.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics, but great channel to watch if you're into guns. That and then Demolition Ranch is the other one. Talk about a YouTube behemoth. Demolition Ranch started as, very little quick YouTube background for you. This guy was a vet tech, right? So his first 4 years, 4 years of YouTube was him being a vet tech with like his kids and whatever. And then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna start shooting guns. And he did like a full 180, and now he's so successful on YouTube, which you would think that YouTube would be anti-guns, but there's certain rules to YouTube. You could show fully automatic guns, but you can't shoot them in fully automatic. Otherwise, YouTube like demonetizes it or something. I don't know how it works. That's not my category.
Yeah,
so
let's not go down that road.
So far, I'm not shooting any guns, but maybe when I'm in North Carolina.
Well, no, do you get trouble for showing something like this on some of the?
No.
Okay.
If it's a video, no, I should be fine. We get in trouble for the stuff we talk about.
Just that.
But speaking of podcasts, we might not have too many more of these, more in-person ones.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, I leave in like a month. Ideally.
We don't know. Don't jinx it.
Don't want to jinx it, but this could be the last in-person one for a while until I'm gonna have to set mom up.
Time.
Yeah, I gotta set
mom.
We got 3-4 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And then we gotta set up for like Discord podcasts with mom every like once a month.
I am familiar with Discord. Thank you, sons.
Why, mom? Is that because you have?
Oh, come on!
Did
Let
you
it
have
go! Let it go! Let it go!
What
Let
were
it
you
go!
Why do you know?
Never
Discord,
mind. Let it go.
But yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with the podcast. I was thinking that the other night. I don't know. We could do the Discord ones, but I prefer the in-person stuff. I don't like doing over computer podcasts.
Well,
I mean, we've made it work. I did one with Grant and Matt, which I thought was hilarious. How of all the podcast, because we were talking at dinner the other day about. I have to tell Matt this later, but we were talking. I was making fun because I was joking that Dad doesn't listen to our podcast. He's like, no, I watched the one with you and your friend. I was like, of all the podcasts, all 7 of them, you watched the one with Matt Sprague? Someone who
makes
I
you
know.
feel good, right?
Yeah,
Thanks,
like,
hon.
Why'd you watch that one, Dad? Probably the most. Yeah, that's a questionable one. I did not expect Dad to listen to that one, but
I don't think Dad has to watch ours because I usually tell him about the stories that I'm putting on there. I just told him about one for today from Veterans Day. Yeah. We were talking about
Happy Veterans Day.
Guns and whatnot and shooting. And
I know we have a couple military viewers, so thank you for your service, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Mom, where do you want to start today? You pick it. They're all yours. Mom literally carried this one because I literally wasn't here today.
Well, we have a smorgasbord.
We have Mom picked at 9.
I'd like to talk. Well, let me do the Veterans Day one first because it's a sad one in the sense that. Well, that way it picks it up with the more positive stuff.
One day we'll start with a good one.
Well, it's actually very interesting. It's called Veterans Day: A Secret War, Strange New.
I see it on Yahoo News. Do I trust this?
Well, I trust that it's happening. I don't know about some of the opinion sides of what they wrote, but it's about Alpha Battery, 1st Battalion, the 11th Marines. So they were sent to bombard the Islamic State in 2016, 2017. So they get 40 gun crew vets and their family. They've been repeatedly struggling with hallucinations, extreme mental health issues coming back from Syria and Iraq.
PTSD.
Yes, but what's interesting, these were different kind of soldiers, okay? They were miles from the front lines. Many never saw direct combat, yet they had those types of injuries like the PTSD. What these guys specifically did, they fired rounds. That was their job. So we started a new approach to warfare when we went to Iraq and Syria. Instead of doing hand-to-hand combat, they wanted to focus more on airstrikes, which were successful, and shooting from long range, and just bombarding these areas. Problem was, the guys that were doing this bombardment, they were shooting cannon blasts, 100-pound rounds, 15 miles, constantly. They were shooting them because of them. You know, when you have that, many of them would tell you and agree, you get a shock wave.
Shock, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Their whole body bone, they could feel their bones vibrate, right? They could feel like a punching in their lungs and their heart, kind of like when you're on a roller coaster kind of sensation.
Like getting hit,
Yep. A whipping sensation through their brain. So they're equating this to almost like football with concussions.
Like a CTE.
Right. These poor guys were coming back. They were told they had ADHD, they had depression, but they were denied a lot of resources because they were never in
Combat, right? Oh, interesting. So I think there's kind of a misconception about CTE. And what I mean is you don't have to get hit in the head to get CTE. A lot of people think that CTE is caused by hits to the head, but that's not true. It's any big shock to the body. So like even if you get punched in the stomach, you could get CTE.
Right.
You know, like that kind of, depending on how hard it is.
Right.
So.
And these guys were getting, and not understanding, for hours. They were blasting and blasting constantly. That's what they did the whole time.
Yeah.
And they came back and they're documenting in the story. It's a pretty long story, but about hallucinations these guys were having. Many committed suicide. So they've been doing tests. They're trying to get the Marine Corps neurologist, neuroscientist to take a look at it. Now, obviously, you can't do much with living people, and I don't know why they're not looking at the brains of some of these individuals now. They did a test with mice to compare proportionally the type of blast. Offhand, they saw nothing wrong, but the next day they saw the mice, they could no longer do the maze. They were pausing. They couldn't finish building their nests, which was unusual for them.
Wow.
They still didn't see anything when they did scans, but then when they took the brains and sliced them, they saw nano, I forget what they called them, but nano damages to the brains.
Wow.
So they said, well, obviously something's going on here, and if it's happening to the mice, although mice aren't human, we can't obviously slice a living person's brain to see.
Yeah, you'd have to see a soldier's head after that, but
Right.
yeah, they always talk about how this next war is going to be either long range or drones.
Well, what's unfortunate too, many of them are getting non-honorable discharge because they're becoming belligerent. They're showing typical signs of like a concussion.
Yeah, wow.
Right. They're throwing up, they're blurred vision. This is initially after it happens, but also they come back and they have, violent outbursts similar to people with PTSD. And they have been diagnosing some of the PTSD. One guy, the only thing that helped him was marijuana. Another soldier told him, it's helped me with hallucinations and whatnot. So that's frowned upon in the military, so he couldn't get all his benefits.
Yeah, I wonder how you would. You can't really fix CTE, I don't think. Well, maybe with Neuralink you can, but I believe like when you're taking that many violent shocks to the body like that I wonder if that's worse than football. You know what I mean? Because I know you're not getting hit by the bullet, but some of those sound waves are just.
I think it is worse.
It's got to be.
That's the point, because it's like they're getting hit constantly with their head.
Yeah.
And nobody really thought about it. Even the guys when they were doing it, because, you don't complain. What are you supposed to say? I'm getting jarred every time I do this? That's not the way the military works, especially the Marine Corps. You just do the job.
Construction workers get that too with the constant banging of like jackhammers and stuff.
Yeah.
Your body's not made for that kind of vibration.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
And at that level, and with the piercing noise, et cetera, but the positive to come out of it, if you can see it as a positive, is awareness that this is something you really have to, because how many people think, oh, thank God my kid's not on the front line. He or she won't be, damaged, but yet these young people are coming back. You don't have to see combat anymore to come back with all sorts of issues when we have these, these excursions.
Yeah, I don't know what the next kind of war is going to be for World War III or whatever, but I think it's more likely going to be drones and stuff. I don't think it's going to be boots on the ground as much anymore, because now we have the ability to shoot like a rocket from here to any place in another country. So it's really not. I doubt that's.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have done that as warfare. We've done
Obama
shooting drones and whatnot, and maybe that's the future. But here's something that they thought, okay, good. Now they're not in hand-to-hand combat. You're not directly fighting, and we're finding even that's bad.
Yeah.
But again,
it's almost like war is a lose-lose.
Yeah.
In the end.
Well, I mean, my position, as you know very well in this house, is we don't do enough for veterans, and I feel they are first and foremost of all the citizens in this country who should get whatever they need.
Yes.
I'm always, I'm appreciative, but I get outraged when I see people like Gary Sinise having to raise money for our military. That to me is just a pathetic thing about our country.
Yeah.
That should be first and foremost. They should want for nothing. They should have the best medical care. They should have the house they need, the motorized, the top of the line equipment if we can't repair them. That should just be a given. And it's stupid as any nation to not want to protect.
It should be part of the military budget, I think, too. Like,
It should be.
It should be where we put most of our money. And I'm all for money to our military budget. I truly believe that the reason everyone complains about how overpriced or how big that budget is, but like, hey, it's probably the sole reason why we haven't gotten bombed.
Well, it depends
like other
because
countries.
we dump more and more money into the military, and perfect example, we have no more bullets. So, we
where's it
buy these
going?
bullets and they go to Ukraine or they go to some other country. I'm more interested in veterans affairs and getting money to the young people coming back, 22, 23-year-olds whose lives are, I don't want to say ruined because they served their country, but they're going to have challenges. And instead of saying, oh, we can't help you, oh, you're obviously crazy because, you're hallucinating and whatnot, and just discarding these people, why many of the homeless people in this country are veterans.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, and that's outrageous. So,
Yeah. But you know what would be better for our soldiers and maybe would help? If they had the ultimate cyborg technology like this lady has.
Yes.
Meet the world's ultimate cyborg. California woman has, of course it's California,
Yeah.
52 implants in her body
Yeah.
that allow her to open locks and turn on computers.
Yeah.
One even causing her hand to vibrate from
Yeah.
when she's like trying to punch through a wall.
She's a human cyborg. I didn't deep dive into the article because I just threw it out there. I didn't know how much time we were going to have today because I had a bunch of articles. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm intrigued by somebody who would want to do this to herself.
Anastasia Sin is a biohacker, magician, and widow of amazing Jonathan. Who the hell's
Yeah, she's
amazing?
a magician, or she's a performer
okay,
magician,
gotcha.
right? Most of the stuff in her are microchips, so she can do all those things. She can perform magic tricks. Her one hand vibrates, so they're showing you where most of her 52, or the main ones of her biochips
Damn,
are.
she looks like she's gotten 52 surgeries. Holy. Why? So, Chips calls husband's phone. Hands are magnets.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just annoying. Left chip is
yeah.
daughter's phone.
Well, apparently she's able to find things like a friend's watch because she can detect metal.
Right. Scannable chip plays wedding footage. So it's not really like useful components. It's really just like it's just like basic things that it's basically like, oh, I'm too lazy to put this on my phone. Let me just put it in my body. It's like a weird. So she has arm magnets, which honestly, if you're like a big, honestly today, mother,
Yes.
I could have used that. Like for a thing of nails, I could have just
stuck it all
stuck
up.
there.
Well, hopefully she doesn't get divorced or she's going to have to fix that right wrist chip.
yeah. You got a husband's phone. How do you switch that one out?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's such a bad
52
idea.
of them. So I know it's an interesting test case. Let's see how she does if she was willing to have those things implanted,
This is the low budget Neuralink. That is tough.
Well,
I see no real reason to ever do that.
well, she's a performer. So obviously it's an interesting aspect to her routine, I guess.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, she's definitely one of a kind if that's what she was going for. But
Well,
it couldn't be anything interesting like, I don't know, like the actual ability to pull up like a screen or something. Sound transmitting magnet? How's that even work?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't. Maybe it's like in your brain. Oh, lovely. It's like in your brain ear pod. You can hear music.
For those of you that can't
There's
really see
the metal
it,
coming out of her arm because she keep it out of there.
she's got. So the magnets are in her arms, like kind of in her forearm area.
Oh, she's
And
pushing
it looks like
through
she's
her
got
arm.
a bar.
She's pushing it through her arm.
Yeah. Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's a lot of fun at a
just
party.
like how David Blaine does that too. There's you know who David Blaine is, right?
I know the name.
One thing I've always wanted to ask a guy like that, who's like he's a magician like this, where he'll put like things through his body, and there's really no magic trick to it. The trick is literally he just stabs himself, but he's built up so much scar tissue that it goes through automatically.
Oh,
So I'm like, that's not like, at what point is that not magic? It's just like you breaking the limits of being a human. Like, I wonder if
well,
he would
if you're admitting
consider
to
that.
it, it's no longer magic. But if somebody discovered, oh, that's why they're able to do it.
Yeah, but still, that's pretty impressive to do either way, no matter how
Yeah.
you look at it.
Yeah.
The way that stemmed from was there was a guy that would allow people to put swords through them back in like this like 1800s.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah. so he just built up so much scar tissue it didn't affect him. So that's where David Blaine got the idea, and I guess this lady does it too. But again, I'm good. I don't need stuff going through me. you know?
Yeah, she's just trying to make a name for herself, I think. I don't know why.
Yeah,
They're not
well,
really
she's
necessary things.
she's a
they are
performer.
convenience.
Yeah. Like if it was something cool, like actually useful, I'd go, yeah. But you go, what's your superpower? Magnets.
I can find lost change.
I wish it had
movie theater.
I wish it had a number for how much money she spent on all of this.
Oh, I didn't even look at that.
That would be interesting to know.
I don't know if that was in the article, what she paid to do all that.
Because each surgery themselves, and I don't think insurance covers that.
No, I think this is something she opted for. However, you never know. Nowadays, some of these companies might be looking for a guinea pig.
Yeah, that's true
And
too.
they're willing to do it. Yeah, it doesn't show. They're willing to do it for free.
Wow.
If they're willing to put all this stuff in you. It can't be healthy having that much metal.
I don't think so. Like
think
I know
so.
they say it's safe, but you can't do that.
And how does she go through an airport?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good point too.
Her whole body must whistle the whole time.
Yeah, dear God. What other ones do we have? Let's see. I'm trying to. Now, guys, this is me trying to mentally prepare a transition on the go, and it's not looking too good based on what we
All right,
got.
let's talk about similar to body stuff.
Sure.
Let's go from the other
Let's see this
extreme from
transition.
Cyborg. Okay. DNA shows Native Americans have origin in Western Eurasia. So I'm going to tap into everybody's memory from high school, maybe it was middle school.
What, are they going to bring
history.
up Eurasia or Pangea?
Well, remember the land bridge that connects
Pangea.
Alaska? Beringia.
Beringia. Yeah, that's
Beringia.
what it is.
Okay.
Pangea is all the countries together. Beringia was the bridge.
They originally, we all thought, the scientists thought, that people traveled from East Asia up through, came
I'm trying to
over,
see- I'm looking at a map
and
right now.
settled in North America, came over the land bridge, blah, blah, blah. Well, they took a DNA from a boy's arm bone. He was found near Lake Baikal, Baikal, in Siberia. 1/3 of his genome was of Western Eurasians. Native Americans share the genetic material with Middle Eastern and Europeans. Okay? So this blows away the whole theory. Originally, it was thought that Native Americans came from East Asia. This boy, that was found, was from 23,000 years ago. His DNA shows no evidence of any present-day East Asians. It also shows, wait for it, I have to write my notes down.
Yeah, so real fast, just for those of you that don't know what Beringia is, so this is something that we learned. I doubt it's even taught in schools anymore, but so this Beringia was basically the idea that if you look at Alaska and Siberia, it almost looks like at one point Alaska was kind of connected to.
No, because of the glaciers
Serbia?
at that time, because there was a very cold period of time,
Right.
which this also proved that humans were able to live through that cold period. The glaciers used up all the water, so it exposed land.
Right.
And because of that, you were able to walk
cross.
from Siberia to Alaska. And the thought was, all these individuals came from Eastern Asia, right? So thinking about the continent, you were going up north through Alaska. You went over through Russia, rather, into Siberia. So that's all
Right.
the eastern part of Europe, Asia, East Asia, and then coming into Alaska and traveled down and settled throughout North America and South America and Central America, okay? But based on this, we're finding, based on this boy's body that they found, what are you doing? Oh,
I want to see. So is that real that Serbia and Alaska are actually only like 60 miles apart?
they're very close.
Really, I never realized that they were that close, even with Beringia.
You don't remember, you might have been too young,
Sarah Palin?
yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Alaska I could see Russia from my
here.
house.
Yeah.
But it's
is
true.
it really that close?
It is
wow.
very close.
So that's got to be maybe 5-10 miles, maybe?
It is amazing that Alaska is part of the United States.
And
I've
is
never
that
really
close?
done a history
Yeah.
deep dive into how Alaska.
I'm so, honest
how
to
do we get
God,
Alaska?
if Russia was like, I'm going to take this today, I'm going to take Alaska, I'm 90% sure America would just go, take it.
No, I love Alaska. Dr. Yukon Vet is up there.
That's true. That's true.
Beautiful up there.
Wow, that is close. You could literally swim to Russia. One boat,
It's closer to Russia than it is to the
the United States.
the
yeah.
lower 48. They
Yeah.
call it the lower
Wow.
48. Yeah,
I didn't- I
it's
never
very
realized.
far up there. but it's beautiful and it's
Didn't we buy Alaska for like a ridiculously cheap amount of money too?
probably because we haven't done much with Alaska since then.
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
like,
pretty
hey, it's
preserved.
ice. It's all ice up there.
Well, it's fishing. You know, it's a lot of the is logging, forestry.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's
that's
beautiful.
the industry.
Whenever I hear Alaska, I always think like super cold and snowy. But then I have friends that go there and they're like, "This is amazing."
It
Like,
is.
It's a gorgeous.
Your
area.
great grandparents took a cruise there many years ago.
Really? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
because they wanted to see Alaska and they took a cruise up there. Beautiful pictures. That was back 70 years ago. Before it was not that. You know, that's what's nice about Alaska. It's not overly populated, therefore it's not
Yeah, you're not on top
trounced
of each other.
upon. You
There's no
don't have old
cities.
buildings. It's still very pristine and very
You have a house. Your neighbor has an igloo. I know. It's amazing.
there's a lot of
Inuits.
reindeer farms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seems like Dr. Oakley always has the reindeer farm. So, but anyhow, interesting that Native Americans always thought, you know, this is changing the whole opinion of human migration to this area because this individual had a very mixed DNA. And for that reason, they're saying, he's matching with Native Americans, and that doesn't make sense from where he is. He's not East Asian.
I want to see Pangea. Pangea map. I want to see what. Right, Pangea was when all the countries were together, right? I think it's just a theory.
It looks like a puzzle piece when you
Yeah.
look at all the continents.
So it's supposed, yeah. Apparently, it fits in like this. For those of you wondering, that's what it would have looked like. So up here's China, Russia, Kazakhstan. Continue without disabling. Now, here's my problem with that. Oh, well, actually, I guess that would make sense, huh? Wow, when you really do look at that, it does make a lot of sense, huh?
Yes, it's like puzzle pieces fitting together.
Wow.
But you also have to look at, you know, the plates underneath. There's a lot more under
Tectonic
the
plates, yeah.
There's a lot more than just the shoreline. And there are, I think, some scientists, and probably there's many who doubt the hypothesis, but you know that it shifted. Things shifted and moved, and that's why it doesn't fit perfectly together. But you also have to take into consideration what goes on underneath the ground, and a lot of it is just from studying and looking at changes and patterns over hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah, I wonder where like the islands fit in. You know, they don't really seem to fit in anywhere. Like Hawaii.
Because islands sometimes came out of volcanoes.
Right.
So they
Oh,
came
that
from
makes
under the water,
sense.
right? When you have the volcanoes. Hawaii is volcanic land. It's all
Let
from
me see if I can
volcanoes.
find. There's a website that does actual size
Well, no.
comparisons of countries. Let's see if I can find it.
Countries or continents?
Countries.
Okay.
True size of. I believe this is what it is. Yes. So remember we were talking about
Yes.
Indonesia the other day? How it works, blah, blah, blah. So true size of, ready, Indonesia. Now, Indonesia is a couple of islands. But
Well,
look,
not a couple, but
yeah.
several.
So, see, when you realize how big it is,
Mm-hmm.
like, look, it's bigger in width than the United States.
But is that the actual proportional size of the U.S.?
That is the actual size. So
Okay.
when you drag it on top, so like when you do this, you start to realize like how small a country like so see this is the actual size of the U.S. So see now Russia's not as big as you think. It's big, but
Why
it's not.
is Russia getting bigger?
No, that's America.
US
This is the
Yeah,
US.
but that's noticeably larger than that.
Yeah, this is actual size. It's because it's factoring the curvature.
So again, which is actual size?
This
That?
is. Yes, this is. If I line this up, it's going to be exact. I just can't line it up with a mouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when
'Cause
I
when you
move
moved it over there,
yeah,
why does it get so big?
because that's the true size. That's actually how big the U.S.
But now
is.
compare that to the U.S. and it's small. Now
Yeah,
Indonesia
no.
is very small.
Yeah, but look. So if I go here, small. But right, if I bring Indonesia up, it makes you realize how big Indonesia is. That's how off our maps are.
Okay, so I'm not understanding why is it growing when you head north to Russia?
Because of if you're going north in the curvature of the Earth, it's going to expand.
But there's curvature around the whole planet.
Yeah, but we're on like one of the flatter parts. So the higher up you go, obviously it's going to be more. It's going to be bigger. So like Russia is.
Okay.
Yeah. What is this? That's China.
That's not China.
India.
That's South Africa.
No, this is China. Right here. This is China.
Oh, you grabbed
Yeah.
it from over there. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
They twisted it so that you have like
Gotcha.
a better idea of what it's like. But yeah, Indonesia is freaking huge, and I didn't realize that. Damn.
Well, it's Greenland. How does it compare to Greenland? Greenland's huge too.
Greenland. Oh God. Well, we'll see because the curvature. China. Oh, China's bigger by a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But then I wonder how big we are in comparison to how big is China in comparison to the U.S. Yeah, it's kind of the same if you were to take. It's rotated weird, but it's about the same, I would say, which is wild considering they have like what 3 billion people just in there.
The world just hit 8 billion.
Did it really?
Mm.
Total size. Oh, that's size-wise. It doesn't say population size.
Okay.
But yeah, I always think that's pretty interesting how when you actually look at maps, you realize how off they are. Sprague and I talked about that when we did our podcast. But
Well, speaking of Alaska, let's move a little further south to Montana. I'm deeply concerned about the drunk grizzly bears.
this is a problem. I saw this.
It's rather sad. The poor grizzly bears.
Again, this is whenever Mom's on, I'm going to start calling. I'm going to put a subtitle: the Doom and Gloom podcast. Drunk grizzlies keep getting hit by trains in Montana.
Yes, it's happening near the Glacier National Park. And since 1980, which is a long time ago, 63 grizzlies have been killed. Why?
Oh,
Grain falls from these trains, and it lands on the side of the tracks where the moisture from the snow and rain causes them to ferment. So the bears get drunk, and they try to either outrun the trains or they fall asleep on the track, and they can't move fast enough to get off the track because they're basically drunk. Many are hit by cars, too, closer to the Yellowstone National Park area. So the rangers feel that the train companies, they're not doing enough.
I agree. And I was literally just thinking this. With all the technology we have nowadays, how have we not figured out how to stop a train in its tracks in like a second?
Well, they don't want to stop it because that's wasted time, which is wasted money.
Right.
So they don't care about the bears. That's the bear's problem. Hit the bear and keep going. But, it's probably the equivalent to hitting a deer on the road, which is sad but true, proportionally speaking, with a train barreling down. It's also a very dangerous part of the
hold on.
track.
That's not true. When I was in high school and when I had to take the train every day to school, our 60-ton train lost to a deer during midterms.
That's true.
So I had to stay till like 6 p.m. because the school was like, you can't go home. You have to take your midterms. So they made us stay after school to take midterms, which was bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
And then, basically this one little reindeer, well, not reindeer, but, little deer, took out our whole train.
Yeah.
Because of a bad thing. But, fun fact, kind of a sad fun fact, but I used to think that the thing in the front of a train, the
cow catchers, they used to call them.
I thought that was for snow, like clearing out the snow. No, it's for splitting cows.
Yeah, and they would sit on the track because they couldn't move fast enough.
Anything that gets hit by that just gets split.
Well, I think bears normally can move out of the way, but not when they're drunk or they fall asleep because
Bears are
they're
fast
eating
as hell.
this.
Yeah, that's
So
like
they-
Cocaine Bear. You know that movie that came out a couple months ago? Cocaine Bear.
Sounds sad.
It's stupid. It's about it's based on a true story where a bear like ate a bunch of drug smuggled cocaine that fell out of a plane, and I don't know. I don't know the rest of the story to that, but it's based on a true story.
Can't be good. Well, anyhow, the bears are eating this, and now they're saying, well, the train companies could do more. Why can't they have possible alarms that will alert the bears long before the train is coming into contact with them? However, some of the rangers and doctors say it might not work anyhow. If they're so hungover, they can't.
But
They
think
won't
about
hear
how
that.
much grain a bear has to eat to get intoxicated.
Well, on the side of that, which I don't understand this either, they're saying maybe the train shouldn't load this grain up so much. Take lesser supply. Naturally, the freight companies don't want to do that because that's money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
But if it's spilling over the side anyhow, obviously you're overfilling it and you're going to lose that grain. So I think they should be required to have better containers for it to keep the grain in.
Again,
don't want that
I
stuff
agree
thrown
with
all
the
over.
idea. Like, think of how advanced all of our. Like, you don't even need a person to fly a plane anymore. Like all of it's like robotic and done with AIs and stuff, and that's coming from our uncle, who is a pilot, knows how to
Yeah.
fly planes. He's like, yeah, you don't even need humans anymore. But we can't figure out how to
How
store
to
stuff
seal a
properly.
freight train to keep the
Exactly.
grain in so the poor bears don't. I'm sure they can. They just don't want to spend the money
Yeah,
to
they
bring
don't
it
want
in,
to. Yeah,
to
their
continue.
ROI is more important.
But on the flip side, Wyoming, all you can eat elk season permits.
This
for
makes
the
sense.
ranchers.
This is okay. I'm not a huge fan of the mass murder of many animals, but elk, all you can kill elk. I believe elk is considered like an invasive species. I'm not sure, but
yeah, similar to deer when they get out of control here. But
Yeah.
for these people, from April, they're proposing, it hasn't been passed, from August 1st through April of the next year, $20 per rancher per elk permit. The elk population is exploding in eastern Wyoming.
yeah,
It needs legislative approval in 2024, so they're trying to come up with a manageable way of controlling the number of elk. So it used to be about 1,800. That's the number they can deal with. It's currently estimated to be about 4,800.
wow,
There's
that's
a lot.
almost 4 times.
These permits were used once before in southeastern Wyoming, and they worked well. But their concern is naturally trophy hunters. So
Yeah,
they're going to say, let's just the cows. You're not allowed to go for the bulls. Just go for the cows. That's how you avoid the trophy hunters. But it does have to be passed. Not everybody's a proponent of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using it for food, like I wish it was all you can eat rather than all you can kill, because one elk will last you like 8 months. Like you can get a lot of food out of one elk. So I'm hoping when they kill it, they bring it to the town or something to give it to.
Well, you could
whoever
sell
needs
it. Make
Yeah, you
money.
could,
These
yeah,
people
yeah.
need
There's a
money
lot you could
too.
do with stuff like
yeah,
that,
it's
yeah.
the ranchers. They could
I just
sell
don't want to
the
see
elk
it
meat.
wasted. That's
Right.
the only problem.
Sell the elk meat to people, if you have that many of them. And
Permit for $20 each. Also, it's a great if it's your first hunting season and you need to practice.
Yeah.
That's a good $20. All you can kill.
I do think
We would
though,
be. Do you know? We would be eating like kings with elk. Are
Elk
you
meat.
kidding? One elk would feed me for a month, Mom.
I do think that you need a little moratorium from say December 22nd to January
Well, that's elk,
3rd,
not reindeer.
I know, but they look very much like the reindeer, and I wouldn't want to scar any kid with the
No,
all you can eat.
Have you ever seen a real reindeer?
They have pictures of the elk.
Reindeer. Reindeer are freak. Well, you've seen the show. Reindeer are monsters.
They are.
Monsters.
They are.
That's,
and
that's
I've
gotta be
seen
double
some
the size. Of an
incredible antlers. Again, Dr. Yukon vet,
animal. Yeah.
Dr. Oakley. She's had at the reindeer farm up there. It's amazing. They can barely lift their heads with their antlers. Some of these
Yeah.
actual deer, and
I
they're
didn't realize
fuzzy
that-
up there.
What's also wild is like how they shed their antlers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like pops off. It's
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah, and some of them are fuzzy antlers. It's
Look
not
at
like
that.
those are bone.
I need a pet reindeer, Ma.
No, you don't.
Ma,
No,
I know.
No.
I know what I want for Christmas.
no, Chris. You're
Ma.
not getting one.
Look at those guys.
Yeah, they're.
Have you ever
amazing
seen how big a
animals.
moose is?
No, well,
Mom,
they.
moose are fucking big.
Yeah, there used to be a show
Not
called.
even close.
There
Like,
was a-
12 feet at least.
There was a show on TV called Northern Exposure,
Mm-hmm.
years and years, way before you were born, and that was part of it. The moose would be just walking through town, and you could see how huge it was. It was like the size of an SUV. That was back then.
My God.
Yeah, they are very large.
My God.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, they are huge.
Look at the one. Look at the picture of this one down there. Look how huge he is.
2,300 pounds. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a
That's a
moose.
steroided up moose. What are they feeding that beast?
Yeah.
Holy.
Train's not gonna hit that and survive.
Yeah. Good luck splitting that thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
Man. Yeah.
7 feet tall.
Oh, I think they get bigger than 7.
Blood says.
Alaskan moose can surpass 7 feet tall. Taller than Yao Ming. The horse. Yeah, that's what, I like how that's what they're. How old is this article?
that in.
Yao Ming hasn't played in like
Really?
freaking forever. But
That was one manana.
yeah,
Look how long their legs are too.
yeah. But
Look at the idiots on the side of the road yelling.
those apparently they're like really aggressive. you
They
know?
can be, yes.
Yeah.
I do know that. I've heard that.
Would you ace the moose quiz?
Oh, please.
What are we doing? Wow, we already. I feel like we're going through this very
yes, we
quickly.
are. Yes, we are.
Speaking of places all over the world, Mr. Beast's Philanthropy. I'm
Yes.
surprised that I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but
No, we talked about his game show that he was being called by the YouTuber.
Oh, that's right. What's Rosanna? Whatever her name is. Yeah, this is an interesting one because he actually posted on Twitter. He said, I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this. And what he did, for those of you that don't know, he planted, well, I don't know if planted is the right word. He dug 100 wells in Africa. And now he's getting backlash. Like, it's wild. People are complaining that because he's white, he shouldn't have helped them or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like he doesn't deserve to help them.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean... If that doesn't swing your votes, like if that doesn't tell you how far they've gone on the left about the white savior,
yeah. Well, this is an Africa.
Demonic.
Right.
So literally, it says right here, Mr. Beast, who has previously faced labels such as white savior and been called demonic for his humanitarian content. How crazy is that? How is that a sentence? Demonic for humanitarian. Humanitarian content. Thank you.
So remember we were talking last week, I don't know if your listeners remember, about you saying, humans should be able, we don't need AI to solve the problems of the world.
Yeah.
This is the point. We could solve a lot of problems. This person, and probably others were involved too, not just him.
Yeah, I'm sure there's companies.
Was able to bring clean drinking water to 500,000
What a garbage
people.
human being. He gave water to 500,000 people.
And
Isn't
knowing
that
these
wild?
morons, they'll wind up shutting the wells down that he created, so people don't get water just because he did it.
Yeah.
And then they'll wait. No, this is the stupidity. That we don't need AI. We're able to do a lot more things without AI. Basic things like getting water to people. It's just politics gets involved and ideologies. Oh, he's too white to do it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
How crazy is that? That he's too white to do it.
Yeah.
Who else?
Ask
is
the
gonna do it?
thirsty little kid in some village
Yeah.
who hasn't had clean water in how many months if he cares whether the person or she that dug it has the same shade of
white or
skin
black,
that he
yeah.
has.
I have to say, Mr. B, we were talking about this with the guys in Discord, but talk about a guy that you can probably do a whole documentary on how this guy came to be, but he's one of those people where thank God he did, because the work that he does is something that I think
I don't know enough about to comment
I think
on
every
it, but
YouTuber should strive to be like this guy. But I mean, obviously, like the means of which he's able to do this, not everyone can do, obviously.
right.
But I mean, it's incredible what Jimmy's done.
Well, I know nothing. All I know is if you tell me you give him 500,000 people are getting water, clean drinking water, I don't know how that could be a bad thing.
Mom, he's
regardless
white
of
and
good-
demonic.
I
What are you
know.
talking
Well,
about?
again.
Look at that. Look at those eyes. Look at that. You think he brought that because he wanted to?
Well, and even if he was doing it for YouTube hits or whatever, who cares? He got drinking water to 500,000 people.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about that. I think it's just like killing two birds with one stone. I need content,
Yeah.
and I'll help people. Like
Well, that's my
fine.
point. Who cares why he did it, as long as it got done and nobody was harmed doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if he gets some promotion out of it, no worse than what a lot of other people do in government who take praise for the initiatives that they
And
do.
then instead, those people are more into the woke gaming giant Activision.
Yep.
What was this one?
I don't
Adds
know,
a
they're not-
non-binary character to Overwatch 2.
I didn't have to read the article to just say, does anybody really care when you
You
play
know
the
why?
game?
But
No,
you know what's?
exactly.
You know what's? No, here's why this is funny. Remember, Activision is the company that is under like 20 sexual allegations within the workforce stuff. And then, I mean, this is a company that's just falling apart. The new Call of Duty is doing piss poor right now because they lie to us. They're like, we're going to start making them bi-yearly. And then they go, how about a $70 DLC? That's not a full game, but yeah, it's tough to look at Activision and go by anything. But
Yeah,
on the
I
bright
threw
side,
it
they
out
are-
there because even just the title alone, I don't even have to read it. I don't really care the whole story. I'm just like, in that type of game, what difference does it make? It
Yeah,
doesn't
no
have
one cares.
any impact whatsoever, because I've seen games that kids have played with science fiction characters that are not even
Yeah.
human. So I'm sure it doesn't have any bearing on the game
Well,
itself.
It doesn't have any bearing on the game itself, but a lot of these games nowadays, Mom, have lore. Like they'll make mini movies on these. So there will be a backstory to it. Again, I don't care. It doesn't matter in the end. But I mean, some of the Reinhardt one's sick.
Are they trying to draw more
have to show
non-binary
Mom the
people to
Reinhardt.
to the gaming world? Is that the point? Or
Say that again,
are
Malta?
they trying to draw more non-binary people into the gaming world? I mean, I don't know why you have to insert a whole story about a character, or if it even matters one way or the other. I mean, I don't know. Are you going to make me watch some sort of thing about characters?
This is Reinhardt. I'll cut this out, but
Okay.
this is sick. You're gonna like this. I always just love how well done this is.
No.
Because remember, this is one small company that does these.
Yeah.
This isn't even Activision.
What does this have to do with the non-binary character?
No, nothing. I'm just saying that the Overwatch lore stuff. Like, remember, they'll make short films on
Okay,
these.
I get it, but
Hold on, this is the big moment, Mom.
even if one of them is
He's about to lose his general.
Okay, suppose he's a non-binary. Does it matter to the story?
No,
Not
it doesn't
really.
at all.
That was my whole point of bringing it up. Okay, this is a moment for you. It means nothing to me.
That's because you don't play Overwatch. It has
No,
the
I
biggest
don't.
female population in it. My mom's
Again,
like,
so you wouldn't... They don't have any female characters.
no, it has a big LGBTQ community.
Okay.
So that's probably why. But.
All right.
Hammer down, hammer down. Yeah, I just want Mom to see that, just to show her.
No,
'Cause
you just wanted to watch it.
I know. Get into it's like Henry Cavill with his Warhammer stuff.
So that was my point in bringing it up without even reading the article. I think some of this stuff is, fine. Put it in.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference to the games.
I don't know why
Same
it's
with movies.
important.
If it doesn't matter movies, don't bring it up. Don't bring it in.
Well, speaking of AI, Justine Bateman, she was an actress on a popular TV series. She's the sister of Jason Bateman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a time where she was more popular than he was. Like,
Whoa,
her show was bigger.
impossible.
She played the sister on a TV show called, I think it was called Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, before he did Back to the Future. That's how long ago it was. Long story short, she dropped out, but she does TV shows. She was speaking about the recent SAG
SAG
AFTA
Awards? Yeah,
union.
which I think they just ended.
Not awards,
union
yeah,
thing?
they came with strike.
Yeah, the
but
SAG stuff.
her biggest comment, I was watching it with Dad, was about the AI. So a lot of, especially in the animated stuff, can all now be done by AI, and that's nothing about that's put in the contracts, right, to protect human workers. So naturally, she was upset about that and saying, I think people really have to look at this agreement because it leaves a huge door open for AI, and that's not fair to all the creative people. And Dad and I were saying at the same time, yeah, nobody likes it when it's their industry. Right? They're fine when it's any other industry, car making, when the average Joe can be replaced by robots or whatnot.
When it comes to acting, apparently
Now
you're
when
too
you-
good. No job could be replaced with
Oh,
acting.
that's so creative.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
the only thing that's creative. So, in other words, people sitting around a desk in a boardroom, they're never creative.
Yeah.
So we could replace all of them with AI. But, the acting world, you can't do AI. I don't necessarily disagree with her, but it's just funny how people see it, like
Yeah, once it
everything
affects
else.
your job, that's
Once
when you
it's
get mad.
about
Yeah.
you, all of a sudden somebody has
Yeah.
an opinion. So yeah, I'm interested in these lawsuits with
I have a
Scarlett
question,
Johansson
ready?
and whatnot. Yeah.
And I mean this with all seriousness. What is the point of a consultant?
Aren't you a consultant?
Mom, I have a question. What exactly does a consultant do? You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking
A
about this the other day.
consultant brings their expertise in a field
Right.
to a situation if it's needed.
Right, but why don't those people run companies? They probably do for the most part, but it's like,
Many of them used to.
yeah, exactly. So why would you need a new consultant? Like when you like you don't get hired out of college as a consultant, right?
No.
It's
well,
usually someone with a
you-
lot of experience.
Or you gain experience. Some job positions are consultant positions, but you're not really a consultant.
Yeah, so it's a what do you do? You're
It's
like if you're a 26-year-old consultant,
Well,
Or
some people
23-year-old.
don't want to work for the same company all the time.
right?
So they say, I want to use my expertise to consult in, it could be in an industry, for instance. So
But what's that expertise based on, right?
your years of experience.
Yeah. So if you don't have that many years of experience, you can't really be a expert, right?
Well, yeah, that is true, but it depends on,
The job and whatever they're
Right.
looking for, of course. Yeah.
well,
But
yeah, it
I was
also
just thinking,
depends
like-
on, well, say for instance, they call it a mentor in college, but you know what? A person who's just finished college could consult a high school student on how to
I
get
guess-
through school.
Well, my question would be like, okay, let's say you were doing a resume to be a consultant. What's going to be on that resume? It's probably going to be your past jobs, but like to hire a consultant, Like,
Not necessarily, and I'll tell you why.
Go
If
ahead.
you've been a consultant for a while,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to talk about your past jobs of how you became a consultant. You would talk about, I helped this firm in my capacity and we generated this much revenue. Then I moved on to the next firm and I helped them and generated this much sales.
Right. So your
Then I moved
resume
on-
is your expertise, right?
Yeah,
For
your
certain-
resume documents for another person or another job what you did as a consultant, since we're talking about that, and you want to show results, right, of or why you were good as a consultant, if you
Right.
will, right? So we have a friend, a mutual friend, as you know. He's been in the construction industry for many, many years.
Oh, Mr. G. Yeah, he's got to do the podcast before I go.
So
One of these days.
he's at a point in his life, he's still working, he hasn't retired. But now what he finds more enjoyable is when he works with younger people and teaches them all that he learned. So he's still doing his job as project manager, but he likes working with the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds just getting out of school and saving them the 20 some odd years he did and learned and imparting that information to them. Now, he could do that at multiple companies. He doesn't have to do it 5 days a week,
Right.
8 hours a day.
But he's a guy that's been in the business for so long.
Right.
But so like his expertise makes sense that like I understand a consultant from that point, like in that view. But like when you're usually like the way we do it through our company, when we get consultants, it's based on like past companies they've worked for. Like we don't go out of the
Right.
way and go, hey, we need to find a consultant. It's more like, hey, this guy's been in the industry. Let's have him be a consultant for us. See what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of smaller companies will do that, or companies that are reaching out to people that
We're experts at the time, but like
We're experts at the time.
there's no such thing as like going to school to be a consultant, right?
Well, I will say this, yes and no. So if you come out of school and you studied computers, for instance, or IT,
right.
okay, a local mom and pop shop knows nothing about the computer system they put in.
Right.
They could hire a kid right out of college who just graduated,
Who knows how to use
and
it?
he could be their consultant. So he doesn't work for them. He works for himself.
Probably contracted out.
Maybe they pay him by the hour, however. So technically, it's a terminology. He's consulting them. You could also call them their IT person.
So then, is a lawyer technically a consultant?
Is a lawyer a
Ooh.
consultant?
See, now we're getting to the deep
Well,
philosophical.
it's whatever you.
questions.
A consultant is just a term.
That,
It's
you're
like
right.
a terminology,
It's not
a title. It's
we
not,
have it as a job title, but it's not really a title, right? Because you didn't
Well, wait a
go
minute.
to school.
You're missing something here.
Good.
There's also an aspect of the consultant where you're not an employee of the company. So a consultant is usually his or her own business. Not usually, but can be.
Oh, gotcha.
So you don't have to pay health care.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
have to pay a 401k. You don't have to do any of that stuff. They do that in their own business.
That's kind of like
But
an
they
in-house lawyer too, though, right? Like an in-house lawyer, if you hire one and you put them on a contract, technically they don't work for the company, but they're under contract under you.
Well, the opposite, I think. An in-house lawyer means they are contracted. They are an employee of the
Oh.
company. If you use outside counsel, that you pay them per
Oh.
hour for
That-
what's
yeah,
needed,
that
and
makes
they're
sense.
not in your company.
That makes sense.
Now, they may do the exclusive work for your company. You may just use one law firm. Some companies use multiple law firms, but only use those. They're not part of the they're not in-house.
Gotcha.
So that's, yes, I mean, law is a form of consulting. It's your own firm, could be a
they're
private
considered
firm.
well, I guess you don't have to be an expert to be a lawyer yet, because you could start at the bottom, work your way up.
Yeah.
So an expert lawyer could be like a consultant.
Yeah, but even if you're a young lawyer, some that haven't even passed the bar yet, they could be assigned to a company and they just do
that's
basic,
true.
torts, minor litigation for the companies till they pass the bar. A senior signs off on their work or whatever, but that gets their feet wet.
How do
gets
you
them
think?
going.
How do you think Trump's? Speaking of lawyers, how do you think Trump's little trial going on?
Well, which
going?
one? There's multiple. I think.
The New York one with the guy that keeps flipping out on him, which with the judge.
One of
that-
the New York ones, he pulled a piece of paper out of his pocket that just kind of threw them all because it was disclaimer. So a disclaimer was signed that basically said Trump's not responsible for any of the financial information that's
How's
on
that
those
work?
documents.
He just threw a piece of paper out.
Yeah, because you signed a disclaimer. So
Really?
basically, on the end of documents, you could have a disclaimer, which was very wise that they did it, but I think it's standard practice, basically saying, I'm not responsible for any of the information or any of the numbers that come on this
Oh.
because I'm the layperson. I'm paraphrasing.
Is that the New York one?
I think it's the one in the New York one. I think that's the one that has to do with their businesses, where he was saying they were saying he was valuing them way too high, and then dropping the value of them. Remember that? That's one of the.
So who do you blame for that then? Who gets in trouble? Is that the board?
Nobody should get in trouble because this is how they've been doing it forever in real estate. You know, you value it a certain way. The biggest issue with that particular case that he's being tried in is normally somebody gets harmed, and that's why you bring the case. So either he didn't pay his loans off, or he embezzled money from the process, or he defrauded banks, whatever. None of that happened. Everyone got paid back with interest in time. So right there, it's an issue of...
So what's the argument of why he's in court?
There you go.
But they have to have some grounds of court. Like,
apparently not, because that's what they're saying.
Well, what did he go in for originally? Like, what was the actual...
They're saying that he defrauded banks and, other instances, because he lowered the value or raised the value of his property or made the value of his properties what was convenient for him. Okay?
Well,
so that he could get a bigger loan.
Oh.
Right. To increase the value of the loan that he would get. So he said, well, because you use that as collateral.
Right.
So he was saying all these places are worth so many millions of dollars. That's what they do in that particular business.
Yeah.
You get a valuation, but any bank uses an outside firm to appraise it. If they use an in-house one, that's not your problem. That's for them to decide because they're giving you the loan. So,
interesting.
And
so
nobody
you think he's in the clear on that one?
I don't know if in the clear is the right word. I think looking at it as and again, I'm not a lawyer, but looking at it as any citizen and as the process, at the beginning, I'm saying, why are they even bringing charges here? This is like, it's another, for lack of a better word, like he says, it is a witch hunt because nobody was defrauded. Nobody lost money. Everybody got paid back. He didn't do anything wrong. And to go back and say, yeah, but he overvalued these properties. Who cares? If the bank didn't care, if he did that and then reneged on the loans and didn't pay him back, all right, the bank has an issue now, right? They should take over the properties. This is just a pure trying to prove that I don't even know what, you defrauded people. Now, he did have a school that he had. This was before, I think when he was elected 2016, the Trump school. And that one he got in trouble for. He had to pay fines because the school charged money and people didn't get out of it what they were supposed to get, a certificate or whatever, I don't know, some valuable, I forget the whole story. And rightfully so, some people took him to court, and I believe he had to pay people back for it. I forget the outcome. But that's the kind of thing where, okay, somebody was defrauded. In this case, where's the fraud?
Right.
There's no fraud,
So I was wondering how that one was going to go. I knew he was going to get out of it. I just wasn't sure how, because it didn't make sense.
Right. On top of that, he pulls out this disclaimer saying, not only did I not defraud everybody, not only did everybody get paid back in full with interest and time, we signed a disclaimer that says I'm not responsible as the lay person.
So I feel like that judge was so unbiased or so biased that he would just throw that out or something.
One of them, Elise Stefanik, who's a representative from New York State, just brought judicial, what's the term? Not charges, but called the judge out for bias.
Yeah, good.
And says, I need this
was the gag orders not when you gag order that many people, we got questions. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that we're even wasting time on this, even in general for me, I just think it's like a total waste of time. It just, I don't know. Yeah,
it's weird, but okay. Well, we can end it there. We just did about an hour. So the only things I have to promote is yesterday I released a bunch of custom escape room maps. So go check that out. And then that was pretty much it for last week because it was just a lot to do last week. So hopefully we could do some more videos this week, but we'll see. I have to do an update video for North Carolina if and when that's like a real thing because we got a lot of moving to do.
What do you mean an update video? You have to for your podcast?
Well, yeah, I probably won't be able to post anything for at least 2 weeks.
Oh. So
podcasts, streams, all that stuff. So we'll do that. We'll do a full rundown of what the future of the channel is going to look like. And then, that's pretty much it. So social media down below, promo codes down below, Discord down below, stream links down below, and everything else down below. You guys know the drill. So, I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll have to see if Mr. wants to do it. I'll believe his name. But one of these days, when next time you talk to Mrs. G, you gotta bring it up. I don't think I have his number saved, so I don't know which one's his.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. So
Get
might have
Mary
to.
on it sometime.
I talked to Mary.
I know she'd want to do it because she's gets nervous about everything.
Really? She's kind of the social media. She'll be able to do it.
Maybe.
If I could do it, and she'll warm up to it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Later.